they talking real loud. Spreading on lies, trying to bring me down. Enemies lurking, but I won't back away. Got a vision in my mind, I'm here to stay. Got my crew beside me, we rise like a tide. When the storm gets rough, we ain't gonna hide. Propaganda swirling, but it won't touch me. Only love around, that's how it's gonna be. Keep moving forward, never looking back. The truth's in the power, it's an unstoppable track. In the city lights where dreams collide, we hustle through the night, fire in our stride. Whispers in the dark can't dim my glow. With rhythm in my soul, I'm ready for the show. We break the chains, rewrite the rules in this concrete jungle where nobody's fools. Unity sings louder than the lies they scheme. In the heart of the struggle we did.
Another Queen Ahmadiyyah production.
Haze on the corner, they talking real loud. Spreading on lies, trying to bring me down. Enemies lurking, but I won't back away. Got a vision in my mind, I'm here to stay. Got my crew beside me, we rise like a tide. When the storm gets rough, we ain't gonna hide. Propaganda swirling, but it won't touch me. Only love around, that's how it's gonna be. Keep moving forward, never looking back. The truth's in the power, it's an unstoppable track. In the city lights where dreams collide, we hustle through the night, fire in our stride. Whispers in the dark can't dim my glow. With rhythm in my soul, I'm ready for the show. We break the chains, rewrite the rules in this concrete jungle where nobody's fools. Unity sings louder than the lies they scheme. In the heart of the struggle, we dare to dream. Keep moving forward, never looking back. The truth's in the power, it's an unstoppable track.
Another Queen Ahmadiyyah production.
Haze on the corner, they talking real loud. Spreading on lies, trying to bring me down. Enemies lurking, but I won't back away. Got a vision in my mind, I'm here to stay. Got my crew beside me, we rise like a tide. When the storm gets rough, we ain't gonna hide. Propaganda swirling, but it won't touch me. Only love around, that's how it's gonna be. Keep moving forward, never looking back. The truth's in the power, it's an unstoppable track. In the city lights where dreams collide, we hustle through the night, fire in our stride. Whispers in the dark can't dim my glow. With rhythm in my soul, I'm ready for the show. We break the chains, rewrite the rules in this concrete jungle where nobody's fools. Unity sings louder than the lies they scheme. In the heart of the struggle, we dare to dream. Keep moving forward, never looking back. The truth's in the power, it's an unstoppable track. Haze on the corner, they talking real loud. Spreading on lies, trying to bring me down. Enemies lurking, but I won't back away. Got a vision in my mind, I'm here to stay. Got my crew beside me, we rise like a tide. When the storm gets rough, we ain't gonna hide. Propaganda swirling, but it won't touch me. Only love around, that's how it's gonna be. Keep moving forward, never looking back. The truth's in the power, it's an unstoppable track. In the city lights where dreams collide, we hustle through the night, fire in our stride. Whispers in the dark can't dim my glow. With rhythm in my soul, I'm ready for the show. We break the chains, rewrite the rules in this concrete jungle where nobody's fools. Unity sings louder than the lies they scheme. In the heart of the struggle, we dare to dream.
All right. Hello, everyone. Thanks for tuning back in once again to the original Queen Ahmadiyyah Shakur show. I'm your host, Queen Ahmadiyyah Shakur, and this is your Sunday Vitamins. So as you're coming in, please feel free to go ahead and subscribe to the channel if you haven't done so already. Be sure to click that notification bell and click the word all so you're notified each time Queen Goddess goes live. Okay, so I know y'all thought I wasn't coming, but alas, here I am. You know, I can get used to this doing lives with my camera off. I absolutely love it. I don't even have to worry about doing my hair, putting on anything or whatever. I can sit up here in my nightgown and bonnet if I want to. All right. So let's get into it. Everybody hit that like button. Please like and share. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't done so. Now, with that all being said, before we get into the details of Diddy's nefariousness, let's have a brief word from our sponsor at 12 Tribes. Here we go.
Do not buy 12 Tribes on Earth hair growth oil and hair magic elixir unless you want super healthy, gorgeous hair that grows. They have a whole line of amazing hair growth products, including hair growth leave-in conditioner spray, hair growth shampoo, hair growth spray, and hair growth butter. I'm starting to sense a theme here. They include quality natural ingredients. They smell amazing, and you can see the results for yourself. So if you're looking for healthy hair growth for your natural or relaxed hair, try 12 Tribes on Earth today.
All right. So don't forget, you can purchase 12 Tribes oil for your hair at Etsy.com. Just look for Lisa Crafts. You can also find it at Walmart.com. Okay. Truth Brown said, no, Queen, I need to see you. Okay. Desmond said, ought to be ashamed of yourself, Queen. Desmond, please leave me alone and sit down somewhere. Okay, I'll be back on camera tomorrow. Honey, I was tired. I went to the gym and worked out, came home, took a shower, and I didn't feel like getting dressed, okay? So y'all can miss me with it. Now, with that all being said, let's get into it. Everybody hit that like button. Okay, so here's the thing. Before we get into the details of the prosecution and the defense and how they can't come together and get it right with the questionnaires for the jurors, potential jurors, let's first talk about Diddy, because an insider says that all that flashing of cash and jewels that Diddy was doing, now Diddy has resorted to trying to trade cans of oily fish. Okay, so let's talk about it. They said Diddy's having to trade his mackerel to get the things that he wants in jail. Humiliating item Diddy is forced to use as currency. Behind bars revealed. Sean Diddy Combs is roughing it out inside prison. You know what's funny is they keep saying Diddy's in prison, but the truth of the matter is Diddy's in jail. Why do they keep saying? Are they trying to manifest him in prison by saying it every day? But let's keep listening, because here's what they say. Sean Diddy Combs is roughing it out inside prison. As an insider revealed, he's been forced to use packets of mackerel, or as they call them, max, instead of cash. Now, the disgraced 55-year-old rapper was well known for bragging about his cash and jewels, but is now forced to trade packets of the oily fish inside Brooklyn's Metropolitan Detention Center as he awaits trial for trafficking charges. Do y'all hear this? Do y'all hear this? Nicole said, I just wait for the queen to come on. YouTube got too many weirdos. I have to agree, beloved. So many nefarious people on here with clickbait, clout chases, and lies, and all sorts of nefariousness. I absolutely agree, Nicole. Thank you, beloved. But do y'all hear this? So Diddy's in there trading cans of mackerel. Let's keep going. Now, they go on to say that he has denied, of course, all of the allegations against him after he was arrested. Diddy had an extraordinary fall from grace since calling prison his new home, as the embattled music mogul has traded in his lavish lifestyle for lasagna, Snickers, Cheez-Its, bunk beds, and monitored computer time with no Wi-Fi. Diddy, who has ditched his black hair and beard for gray, is currently housed in 4 North, a 4th floor dorm-like section inside of the jail where about 20 other men are kept. Now, you know, they're low-key throwing shade, saying he switched out his black for gray. They know the man cannot dye his hair in prison. Where's going to get the Beijing from? But anyway, that specific unit is known to house other high-profile inmates, including cryptocurrency king Sam Bankman-Fried, or Fried. Okay, I think it's Fried. Okay, I keep forgetting. Anyway, Sam Bankman-Fried, who was recently transferred to another facility, former gang members and government informants that have to be separated from the general population. Now, although his lawyers anticipated their client would be placed in a special housing unit where inmates spend about 23 hours a day inside of their cells, Diddy actually has more freedom, but it still doesn't remotely compare to his past life. Now, Gene Borrello, a former inmate, told the New York Times, inmates in Fort North are generally allowed to roam freely and enjoy televisions, microwaves, a workout area, and a row of bunk beds. But there are several check-ins throughout the day from correctional officers. Borrello, who said that he was locked up in that unit because he helped the government convict mafia members, said you have nothing to worry about in that unit. Now, the former inmate who was the last housed there in 2023 told the outlet that each of the bathrooms have stalls in the unit and that inmates are allowed to take their meals and tables inside the common area. Having social contact rather than being locked in a solitary cell for hours on end is said to leave most prisoners feeling more cheerful. So is that why Diddy's in such a good mood going around being motivational? You know, they said Diddy's a whole motivational speaker, telling people to hold their head up, keep your chin up, and all of that. Probably reading poetry and passing out lilies and all that. Now, for Diddy specifically, he meets with his legal team quite frequently in the common area or the conference space. He's allowed to use a laptop without Wi-Fi, as his attorneys have told him to comb through the mounting evidence that prosecutors have turned over ahead of his trial next month. Now, Diddy is only allowed to use the laptop during specific hours, that's 8 a.m. to 3:30 p.m. every day, and has to do so in common areas like the visiting room or the space where inmates take video calls. Now, he and other pretrial inmates who have to wear brown prison jumpsuits, or they have to wear brown prison jumpsuits, they're offered a rotating food menu to choose from their meals. Breakfast is served daily at 7 a.m. Now, on the second Friday of every month, lasagna is served, as well as pasta fazool, okay, spinach and salad for vegetarian eaters. Diddy can also choose from commissary snacks, including $3.65 Cheez-It bags and a 6-pack of Snickers for $5.95. He can also buy toiletries and other miscellaneous items like that they have there, like radios and watches. So who gets a watch in jail? Each inmate is allowed to spend up to $180 every 2 weeks on commissary items with money that is provided to them through family and friends. So visitors are only allowed to see their loved ones on Tuesdays in that unit, and their government monitored phone calls can last no longer than 15 minutes. Now, recently, a snippet of Diddy's call to Kanye was leaked to the public as he urged his pal to get behind the mic and get back to rapping and all of that. Okay, so we're going to skip past that because I already played the audio for you all. Now, with that all being said, prosecutors have alleged that Diddy has tried to take advantage of his privileges, including buying phone time from other inmates, trying to contact potential witnesses in the case, and that he even had the nerve, to manage or to analyze social media analytics from inside prison. Okay, they said he even managed to do that. Now, they said that when Diddy posted a video of his 7 children singing happy birthday to him on Instagram in November, he somehow was able to track the post from behind bars. The defendant has demonstrated an uncanny ability to get others to do his bidding, employees, family members, MDC inmates alike, according to prosecutors. His defense team said Diddy is not trying to cheat the system. He's not trying to cheat the system, okay? He has plans to face his case full on. Now, at his most recent court appearance, Diddy looked noticeably older and appeared to have put on weight as he walked into Manhattan's federal court wearing a tan prison-issued top and pants for his pretrial. He said not guilty when the judge read out the updated indictment, which included claims of forced labor. But of course, he was all smiles in court and waved to his son, Christian King, and his daughter, Chance Combs. So Diddy stood up as he was arraigned on the new charges by Judge Aaron Subramanian, who asked him if he had the updated indictment. Yes, I have, sir, Diddy replied in a clear voice. And when the judge asked Diddy if he would like the indictment read aloud, Diddy declined and said, "I'm fine. I waived the public reading." I know you did. Diddy don't need people hearing all of that while he's sitting there and they're looking right at his face. Okay. Opening statements for his trial are set to kick off on May the 12th in federal court in Manhattan, and the trial is expected to last 8 weeks. All right. And so anyway, y'all heard that. Listen, they're trying to throw shade at Diddy on the slide. That's what they're doing, talking about his hair is no longer black, it's gray. Okay. And he's gained weight. Well, I'm sure he is eating all of those trans fats and all of the nefarious foods they have in there. But the thing I'm waiting to find out is, what are these questions that they're going to ask the potential jurors? Because right now they're saying that the prosecution and the defense team just can't get it together. Okay, Sean Diddy Combs' lawyers want prospective jurors questioned about sex and drugs and violence. They want to know their thoughts on that. And of course, we can clearly surmise that that's because of all of these allegations about Diddy. They want to see how biased any of them, if at all, will be. Okay, so here's what they report. Lawyers for Sean Diddy Combs are urging a judge to let prospective jurors at the hip-hop mogul's upcoming sex trafficking trial be questioned about their views regarding sex, drugs, and violence. Now, the lawyers raised the subject as they submitted a proposed questionnaire to be filled out by individuals summoned for his May 12th trial in Manhattan federal court. Now, in the letter to the judge, the lawyers said they want to know the willingness of would-be jurors to watch videos that are sexually explicit or show physical assault. They also say they want to know their views toward people with multiple sexual partners. Now, prosecutors have said that a key piece of the evidence at trial will be a video showing Combs punching his former protege and girlfriend, the R&B singer Cassie, and throwing her to the floor in a hotel hallway. Now, defense lawyers have argued that prosecutors built their case on charges that try to demonize sex acts between two consenting adults. So they told the judge they were unable to reach a consensus with the prosecutors for what prospective jurors should be asked on those questionnaires. Now, they said the defense believes that it is important that we allow potential jurors to write candidly about the unprecedented and negative media attention that they may have been exposed to relating to Mr. Combs. Defense lawyers also asked that jurors be asked to tell if they've watched news or watched shows on television titled The Fall of Diddy, or Diddy Do It, or The Downfall of Diddy and Diddy, The Making of a Real Bad Boy. The prosecutors, in a letter of their own, criticized the defense's proposed questionnaire as too long and touching on subjects that would be better asked in person by the judge, if at all. Now, they said some of the defense's proposed 72 questions, some containing subparts, were utterly irrelevant to the ability to serve on a jury. Well, not so fast, Mr. Prosecution. That's just how it goes. You ask the you ask the potential jurors certain questions because you want to know their biases. Okay, you have to know their biases. And let me just tell you all how this, I'm sure you can imagine how this works, but let me just give you all an example. So there was a few years ago, someone was talking about Bill Cosby. They did a video about Bill Cosby and uploaded on social media, and I totally disagree with their take on it. So when I spoke to this, because this is someone that I knew, I spoke to them and asked them why did they think that Mr. Cosby was guilty and believe everything that those women said. And even though some of them were known liars, Janice Dickerson, okay, allegedly. But so anyway, they told me that Bill Cosby admitted to doing these things during his deposition. And I said, no, he did not. Then they told me a specific question that he was asked and said he answered yes to it. I said, no, he didn't. If you go back and watch, his attorney told him not to answer that question. He never admitted to that. And then I also knew that this person is likely biased against Mr. Cosby because they had been assaulted. Okay, they had been assaulted. Now, it's just the fact that people who have been through something that a potential defendant has been accused of will, in some cases, side against the defendant just because they have been through that, not bothering to look at the validity of the evidence, not taking into account any inconsistencies in the accuser's testimony or whatnot, they will overlook certain things because of their biases. And so they have to ask them these questions. Now, mind you, I'm not caping for Diddy. I'm just telling you how the system works. And you are supposed to be presumed innocent until proven guilty. But of course, we know in the court of public opinion, that isn't always the case. But we're talking about the court in the courtroom. Okay, so things have to go a bit differently. So the prosecutors, I have to disagree with them on that. Now, they say that prosecutors also cited the trafficking trial of Ghislaine Maxwell as an example of how a lengthy questionnaire can be damaging. Okay, after Maxwell was convicted of trafficking in December of 2021, a juror admitted that he had failed to disclose that he was an abuse victim, blaming his oversight in part on being distracted as he filled out the questionnaire and having skimmed way too fast, causing him to misunderstand questions. Well, I don't think that had anything to do with the amount of questions, the length of the questionnaire. That had everything to do with him. He was skimming through rather than reading everything in a very detailed manner, which is what you should do if you are someone who is going to be a potential juror. You should absolutely read those questions. And I don't think that it could be that he didn't just overlook that question or just didn't, answer it correctly by accident. Maybe he just lied. Maybe he just really didn't want to answer it because he really wanted to be on the jury and didn't want to let that answer have him disqualified. That's more than likely what it was. Now, that's just my opinion. So anyway, Judge Aaron Subramaniam has told lawyers that questionnaires will be distributed to hundreds of prospective jurors at the end of April, so that questioning of prospective jurors can begin on May the 5th, with opening statements likely to start on May the 12th. Now, of course, Diddy has pleaded not guilty to all of the allegations that he's been subjected to, and there's numerous individuals accusing him of sexual abuse, assault, and all of this spanning over a 2-decade period. Okay, but the Bad Boy Records founder has remained incarcerated since his September arrest. Now, an indictment accuses Combs of using the power that he has and prestige that he's wielded in, as a music mogul to intimidate, threaten, and lure women into his orbit, often under the pretense of a romantic relationship. So, what do you all think about this? Because they want to know if these people, how willing they are to look at these actual videos, the 9 videos that Cassie gave to the prosecution. Okay. Truth Brown said all Diddy tea is about to be spilled. I mean, yes. So are they going to be willing to look at the videos is what they want to know. And then also, what do they think about people who have multiple partners? What do they think about people who sleep around, who are swingers? What do they think about? These are good questions that they should really ask them, because, that is going to play into how they view things that are shown, that, that are exposed during the trial. So anyway, the prosecution doesn't think so. They don't want the information to come out, I guess. They're saying that doesn't have anything to do with the person's ability to be on a jury. But you do, as the defense team, you do want to at least have an idea of how they may or may not answer something. Okay, that's just what they do. Nicole said, what if the whole jury hates Diddy? And that could be the case, because listen, how have they not seen these documentaries, the news reports, the social media videos? They've seen this stuff. It's everywhere. It's literally global. You know what I'm saying? And so that could be the case. Gwendolyn says, Queen, I think a lot of jurors will lie to get on the panel. Do you think? Of course they will. I absolutely believe it. They're not going to act like, they're not going to admit that, I've seen the downfall of Diddy. They're not going to admit some of these things, that they've been all over social media watching the Queen's channel, knowing good and darn well that they heard about Diddy having the ability to conjure up 72 demons because he read the lesser key of Solomon and all of that. I'm just curious why he has Urzuli Dancer tattooed on his back. Clearly nefarious. And here's the thing. What do they think about Diddy allegedly dangling that woman over the 17-store balcony. Now, remember, that's now been thrown in as one of the charges. And here's the thing I forgot to mention to you guys yesterday or last night, I believe it was. Someone said, how are they still charging him with that when it's over 5 years ago and past the statute of limitations? Well, here's the thing. I almost forgot. This is in California. I do believe that Diddy dangled that woman in California. And that would make all the difference because in California, you see, there is in fact no statute of limitations on attempted murder, just as there isn't on murder. Okay, so they don't have a statute of limitations for attempted murder in California. Now, let me just make sure that that's where this occurred. I'm pretty sure it did because I know I reported on this before. 17th floor hotel suite. Yeah, I'm pretty sure it doesn't say in this article, but I'm pretty sure it was in California. And that's why, okay? So that's what it is. Now, with that all being said, the dealer has been very, Troy said the dealer has been very busy and then got bussy. Now, y'all need to stop. Can you imagine if that were you, ladies? Can y'all imagine if that had been you that Diddy dangled over a 17-floor balcony? Like, that is so crazy. Diddy is definitely the devil. Okay, but so let's get into this, what this attorney was saying on Law and Crime. Okay, I'm going to play the audio, not going to show the visuals, but he talked about these disturbing allegations against P. Diddy's kids and, you know, how they played into some of this or whatever. I didn't listen to all this, but we're gonna listen to some of his thoughts on as it pertains to Diddy's, because I always like to know what these attorneys are thinking. And I can't get Gavin on here because he's over it at this point. Damn it, Gavin. Okay, here we go. Like stuff, everyone, please like and share. Thank you in advance.
What do you make of that allegation?
If that's true, it's a crime, period. You cannot solicit anybody to have sex under most of our laws. At a minimum, at least out here in California, it is a misdemeanor soliciting a prostitute. The male is what we call the John, the female is what we call the Wendy, you know? And oftentimes in the prostitution world, the prostitutes are not these high-end call girls, you know, like the Heidi Fleises from the 90s. No, those days are over. A lot of them really are the girls who are just tricking for drug money, you know, for some Uber fare to get home, to have their next meal. So they truly are victimized by that whole illegal profession. You know, you can't get them off the streets. They need to get their own housing, their own source of income, and just make their way in life, you know? But generally speaking, I will say, though, that society doesn't care about prostitution, if we're honest. Nobody really cares that if somebody wants to go out there as an adult, have sex with an adult for a few bucks, have at it. However, that does not apply when it's a child. When it is a child, and particularly out here in California, if that child is under the age of 14, not only is it a crime, but you will be going to prison and you will be registering as a sex offender for the rest of your life, period. That is called a molestation. And under most laws, a child, a minor under the age of 14, lacks the legal capacity to consent to sex, even if they articulate that they are in fact into it and want to have some form of oral copulation or intercourse. It's still illegal. So what does that mean? It means don't do it. Or if you're unsure what the age of your prostitute is, card them. And if they don't have ID, abstain and go find yourself an adult or diddle yourself, as we say, you know, but don't do it. It's not worth the consequences.
No, I think it's especially extra tricky when we're talking about people who are underage, and that just is a whole other web of situations and makes it way far worse. There's also another allegation against Justin, though, too, that he helped cover up a shooting that happened near one of Diddy's studios outside. What do you think of that? I mean, I know we talked about the criminal side of things and investigation. Maybe there isn't enough to charge him, but do you think it's worth looking into on the criminal side of things if there actually was a cover up in regards to the shooting?
Well, like I said earlier, I am pretty convinced that the cops, that the DA's office, and anybody else investigating the case has already looked at the facts. And I have a feeling, and now do I know this definitively? No, of course not. But I have a feeling that they have rejected a criminal filing. And so what did they do? They went the civil route. Now, does that mean it cannot evolve or develop into a criminal case? Certainly. But that's why we have the Fifth Amendment privilege. If you feel, and in this case, Justin, if he feels that maybe he really did do it, but there's just not enough evidence, he can clam up during a deposition and take the fifth. And they cannot compel him to testify. The only way they can compel him is if state and federal prosecutors give him a full grant of use and transactional immunity. But they're not going to do it. The only way they would do it is if he agrees to testify against Diddy. And they're certainly not going to make that kind of a deal to testify against their dad. I don't see that happening.
Yeah, I don't see them testifying against him at all either. I mean, I'd love to see it actually, but I don't envision it happening. If we're talking about predictions moving ahead for these kids, I mean, I say kids because they're Diddy's kids, but they're adults. Justin and Christian Combs, potentially any of the other Combs children. What are your predictions moving forward? Do you think other allegations could come forward? Do you think there'll be a settlement? What are your thoughts?
I think Daddy Diddy is going to pony up some cash and settle the cases against his kids. And so that they can go on with their life in complete repose without ever having to look back and get it behind them. Now, criminally, Diddy's in trouble. Diddy going down, okay? He is in big, big trouble. I will be shocked if he walks away from this. In my opinion, counsel should do whatever he or she can to try to settle, because these charges carry multiple life sentences, and the last thing he needs to do is go down behind sex acts. Listen, I don't know about you, Sierra, but if I'm going away, it's not going to be behind some sex. It's going to be behind a murder. It's going to be behind a Briggs heist. It's going to be behind breaking into Buckingham Palace, you know? So it's, at some point in the criminal justice world, you have to know when to cut your losses, you know? And that's when counsel needs to step in and grovel, meet with DAs, beg, and try to settle the case early.
I mean, one thing's for sure, this case, all of the different facets of it is so interesting, and there's always new developments coming out, a lot to follow. Philip Dubé, thank you so much for coming on with us today and chatting about it.
Okay, so y'all heard that what he said, honey. At the end of the day, he said Diddy's going to pay for his son to get out of it with those civil suits so they can just move on with their life. But Diddy's going down. He said Diddy's in trouble. Yeah, Diddy absolutely is. Okay, he absolutely is. Now, with that all being said, let's talk about Soulja Boy, because Soulja Boy said that he was set up. Okay, that's what he said. Soulja Boy said that he was set up and that y'all just trying to bring a black man down, and that if he actually did anything to this girl that had anything to do with sex, why didn't she call the police? Why is she trying to take him for his cash? This judgment against Soulja Boy was for $4 million, family. Now, for those of you who have memberships, I actually posted all of the information, okay, on the yesterday. I posted yesterday for members only. So if you all didn't see that and you're a member, don't be missing out on your blessings. Okay, don't be missing out. Now I'm going to go to the video that Soulja Boy posted. He did a live about it, and he had some things to say. All right. RG Titan said, I saw the video yesterday. Right. I also posted something for those of you that have members on the spiritual channel. Okay, so anyway, I've been neglecting you all. I'm so sorry, family. Please forgive the queen. I'll do better. Okay, here we go. Now let's see what Soulja Boy's talking about. Because Soulja Boy said the Illuminati set him up, y'all. He said the Illuminati set him all the way up. Okay, please pay attention. Hold on. playing for you all? When I click back over, it stops playing. Hold on. Let me see if it's playing for you all, because I'm looking on the other thing. Hold on. Hold on, beloveds. Where's the volume at on here? Okay, I think I was showing you all the wrong video. Hold on. Let me unshare, then go back.
Fuck y'all too, nigga. They over there scamming shit though, but let the lawyers do their thing, nigga. On my mama, nigga. You know what I'm saying? On my mama, nigga. Don't never compare me to no weird shit, nigga. I ain't never did no weird shit my whole life, man. They mad at me, nigga. In the Illuminati and industry niggas coming for me, nigga. Independent, nigga. I ain't signing no nigga, nigga. That shit a scam, nigga. If y'all think it's funny, they over there mama, nigga. If I really sexually assaulted a bitch, why ain't in jail then? The fuck you mean? Why you going to ask for some money, nigga? Go tell the police to come lock me up, bitch. If I touched your ass, bitch. Lying ass, bitch. Ain't nobody touched your funky ass, bitch. On my mama, y'all can't see what these folks trying to do then. Fuck y'all. Y'all want to believe what these folks saying? Y'all want to promote this shit? Come on, nigga. Come lock me up, nigga. The fuck? Where the charges at? Come on, nigga. Mama, nigga. If I really, who the fuck want money for being sexually assaulted? Who the fuck wants some money for that? Bitch, go lock the nigga up. That's how you know this shit is scam, nigga. The fucking system is broken, nigga.
Okay, so you all heard that. Soulja Boy said it's a scam and all this, that, and the third. Listen. Okay, just listen to his mouth. First of all, his mouth is so filthy. I really don't put anything past him. Okay, I don't put anything past Soulja Boy. I just don't. All right. So he went on a whole rant, and of course he's butthurt because he has to pay up that money. Now he insisted the allegations weren't true and claimed that he had no chance to win with an all-white jury who clearly wanted to bring the black man down. And he added that the lawsuit is proof that he's made it as a successful black artist. Okay, and then he drew comparisons to other high-profile black celebrities who faced sexual abuse allegations, such as Michael Jackson, Bill Cosby, R. Kelly, and Sean Diddy Combs. Okay, anyway, Soulja Boy, please sit down somewhere. All right, that means you've made it because you've been accused of sexual assault, Soulja Boy. That means you have made it. That's all it takes. Sir, please sit down. I just remember how he did Teddy Riley's daughter. He just did that poor girl so low down and dirty as far as I'm concerned. I don't know if he did the things that he's accused of or not, but what I do know is he's got to pay $4 million, okay? And he's not getting out of it because they say that the law in California is that they can come after you for 10 years. And if in those 10 years they still don't get it, they can add another 10-year extension. So there's no getting out of it, Soulja Boy, okay? There's no getting out of it, sir. You're going to have to pay up, all right? You should have thought twice. OG Patrice says, Soulja Boy put pause on my buddy Teddy Riley's daughter when they were a couple. He's violent and toxic as hell. Yes, I heard that too. I almost said something about it on that video yesterday, but I didn't want to because I didn't have the proof. But I absolutely heard that from a very reliable source years ago that he put hands on that young lady. Okay, and Teddy Riley wanted to put hands on him. Okay. Soulja Boy is a heathen. Okay, I don't believe anything he says ever. Now, with that all being said, just pay the lady the $4 million. Okay, at the end of the day, before you be held in contempt of court. Now let's talk about Wack 100. Y'all, I hate to hold on. Miss AP said, I cannot stand him. Okay, F Soulja Boy, he makes me sick. Well, don't hold back, beloved. Tell us how you really feel. But you know who I can't stand? I'm so glad y'all asked. It's Wack 100. Wack 100 set up on Vlad TV and straight up snitched, threw Big U under the bus, was telling all kinds of info. I don't see how this man isn't a federal informant. Are y'all sure about him? Does anybody know Wack 100 in real life? This man was on there just giving up all of the ingredients to the recipe. I mean, Miss AP said he's another one, okay? He was just running his mouth to the man, y'all. Let's get into it, honey. He was telling it all. I mean, I don't know what he left out, if anything. Hold on, let me put an overlay up here, because Wack 100. I find it all so interesting. Hold on, beloveds. I find it all so interesting. I mean, he loves going on Vlad too with his little clout chase himself. Here we go. And the main thing I was asking was, how in the world does he even know any of this, let alone all of it? Okay.
Yeah, but you know what's dangerous about that?
Yeah.
It's still a count not there.
What's the count?
The murder.
Well, no, that
Nevada.
is.
Nevada kept that.
Oh, so that's not part of the Fed case?
Yeah, but you know what's dangerous about that?
Yeah.
It's still
Well, this Big U 43 count indictment is insane.
yeah, but you know what's dangerous about that?
Yeah.
It's still a count not there.
What's the count?
The murder.
Well, no, that
Nevada.
is.
Nevada kept that.
Oh, so that's not part of the Fed case? Oh.
So that's 43 counts that's excluding the homicide. Nevada's going to charge that independently as a state case. If you go look at it, all the charges to the right over there, you don't see the murder.
Well, okay, no, because when you go to justice.gov, right, which is titled, it's a press release, longtime Rolling 60s neighborhood Crips leader charged in 43 count indictment alleging murder, extortion, fraud, and tax crimes.
Go look at the 70-page. You have it? The
Well, I mean,
70-page indictment?
And it says, I mean, in the press release, it says, for example, in January 2021, Henley murder victim identified indictment as RW, an aspiring musician,
that's what he said. Listen,
so you're saying that's not part. Why would they include that in the press release? If
but they said verbally in the press release, they also released 19 people, right? But only 7 or 8 are actually in the RICO indictment. So it looked good and it sounded good. But if you pull the indictment up, which we have it, is 75 pages of what they're actually indicting him on, the murder's not there.
Right.
Nevada's gonna
take that. Okay, so there's a RICO count, 2 conspiracies to interfere with commerce by robbery and extortion, Hobbs Act, 1 count of Hobbs Act robbery, 9 counts of attempted Hobbs Act extortion, 5 counts of Hobbs Act extortion. And
now
the extortion part was weird to me because it's like, at no point did Big U ever ask for anything from me. You would think that I would be a perfect victim of extortion.
The extortion is not on you.
It's on what, a bunch of vendors?
It's on
I'm not saying it's on me, but I'm saying like I've never dealt with anything like that with Big U. He's never tried anything with me.
It's gonna be hard for him to get out of that because the feds were actually giving the victim the money to give to him.
Now, the question is, how the hell does Wack know this? How does he know what the feds were giving the victims, okay, to give to him? How does he know this? I have so many questions. Wack 100 is sitting up here just snitching, okay, telling it all, honey, leaving out no details.
Oh, so it was a setup.
I mean,
in a way.
Call it what you want. So That's the dude, Del Morrison, whatever his name is. That's the guy that had the marijuana shop, right? So all those counts, you look at all the wiretaps to where you see that happening. A lot of time it was a middleman, but they arrested him too. That's Sylvester Robinson.
Okay, so what is the prostitution charge, the interstate commerce for the intent that the person, the individual engaged in prostitution, Mann Act?
That's the lady, Monty or Manny, whatever her name is, that he said as far as the paperwork that he was involved with, but they have the wiretap, him requesting that she brings females from LA to Vegas. So what it says is, I'm gonna pay you $1,000 to do that. So what she's kind of saying is like, that was her like shutting down her business for the day. She does like food catering to do that. But where it gets a little etchy is she kind of told the girl something about get paid before you get laid or some crazy shit in there, right? And then it's another wiretap where somebody else is asking him, yo, you know, we can get some chicks from? And then he referred them to her, right? So, you know, whenever you transporting female women from one state to another, any location from one another, and it's a description of, I want them to do this, do this, do this, do that. And then you got money involved. It's Diddy all over again. It's sex trafficking. The crazy part about it, when you look at this industry, bro, when you look at the industry, a lot of things that people thought was regular, normal, and innocent, you get what I'm saying? Like, bro, like, let's think about it. You know what I mean? You know, you meet somebody in Miami and you like, yo, we finna jump on the PJ and go to the Bahamas for a day. And you put her on there and she come with you and y'all go do your thing and you're sweet and you bring her back, right? They gonna say it's sex trafficking. So it's kind of like damn near, you gotta really be in a relationship to fly somebody to you. Or you know what I'm saying? It's you gotta have some type of history of some type of something, because if you go right now on Instagram and DM, damn, you're beautiful. Oh, what's up? I've been following you. Yeah, I'm in LA. Where you at? I'm in Chicago. Well, listen, we got this party this week. Why don't you come down? Well, I really ain't got, well, I'm gonna send you a ticket. You send her a flight, she come down, and they say she came down and you have sex with her that weekend and send her back, they gonna say sex trafficking.
I think it's a hard sell to pull that off.
Bullshit, that's the Mann Act of 1910. It's in the federal books.
I think that
back.
I think it's a hard sell. Yeah. I think if that's all they got, if that, like, for example, with Diddy, if that's all they got, he might actually walk free. And in fact, I heard he's getting bail. I'm not 100% sure of this, but I know someone that knows someone in the feds that told him that he's getting bail.
I heard that the other day too, that Diddy was getting bail. And I'm like, why is he getting bail? His trial is about to start in a few days. I don't know if it's true or not.
The only thing about Diddy thing that has me scratching my head, and you know, I don't doubt nothing they know how to do, is I've never seen a one-man RICO.
Right.
I don't know if they charged him wrong. You know what I'm saying? I don't know if they should have just charged him directly with whatever the immediate charge was, but he's under a RICO. You know what I'm saying? Like when you look at Big U's thing, it's like 7 or 8 other people.
Well, do you know the people? I mean, obviously, Loose Cannon, you know, right? But there's Sylvester Robinson, a.k.a. Vay, Mark Barton, a.k.a. Bear Claw, Tremaine Ashley Williams, a.k.a. Loose Cannon, who you know, of course, Armani Effigy, a.k.a. Monty, Frederick Blanton Jr., and Tiffany Shenrika Hines.
She's the only one I don't know. And Monty, I don't know. I know of. I don't know her, but everybody else, y'all know.
Okay, everybody so you else know Frederick, Mark Martin. So you know Vay, Bear Claw, and Frederick.
I know all of them.
Okay, so are the feds saying these are rolling 60s?
Definitely, that's what they're saying.
What are they accused of?
Being in the paperwork, they're accusing them of being part of the extortion and robberies and all this type of stuff. You know what I'm saying? So, like Frederick, I know him, like he trained dogs. That's how I know him. He trains and he sells dogs. I don't even think he has a criminal history. Not at all. I don't think he's ever been to jail. I've been knowing him for a while. I know him from
Okay, I heard enough. He's just sitting there telling everybody's business. What's wrong? These men out here talk more than the women. I am so serious. Some of these dudes be out here just straight up gossiping, snitching, you name it. Okay, doing the absolute most. Okay, at the end of the day. So he's saying that they didn't charge Big U with murder, though clearly he thinks that they should have. Okay, Janine said Diddy's not getting bail. That's a rumor. We know that's a rumor because that doesn't even make any sense. Like I said, the trial is starting in less than a month. Why would he get bail all of a sudden? Now let's talk about this two-year-old who returned home from daycare, and someone clearly tried to snatch this poor baby bald-headed, a whole braid missing. Okay, and nobody has answers. And the mother was beyond upset. Big bald spot. 2-year-old comes home from daycare with her braid yanked out. Mom says she's taking legal action after no explanation given. Honey, I'd be taking legal action if there was an explanation given. I wouldn't care what it was. So a New Jersey mother says she's going to take legal action against the daycare that has given her no explanation for her 2-year-old daughter who came home with a braid missing from her head. Okay, so let's get into it. I'm going straight to the news report. Likes up, everyone, please like and share. Just imagine this was your child. Just imagine this was your child come home and somebody almost snatched her bald headed. This is a darn shame, honey.
Answers after she picked up her daughter from daycare on Wednesday and noticed one of the braids in her daughter's hair was missing.
Yeah, she shared photos, there they are, with Eyewitness News that appeared to show the missing portion of her daughter's hair, but the daycare says that there is no evidence a braid was pulled from her head. So what happened? Eyewitness News reporter Janice Yu spoke to the girl's mother, who is now taking legal action against the daycare.
Then that's when she sent me the picture, and that's what I saw, the big bald spot in my child's head with the braid missing.
Tamara Hemingway was stunned. She says she sent her 2-year-old to daycare like this last Wednesday with 4 braids on the right side of her head. She says it was only when she called to check in the afternoon, a staff member at Growing Kids Academy noticed one braid on Mila's head was missing.
You have to use some type of force for a braid to be removed. It was a cornrow, so it was braided down to her scalp. There's no way that, I don't know who could have done it, but
I'm going to tell you what they did, beloveds. I'm going to tell you what they did. Whoever, this was a grown person. It wasn't any of the other children. Okay. The little girl doesn't have a red spot. There's no bruising. It doesn't look as if it's been bleeding. She wasn't screaming and crying or any of that when the mother saw her or what have you. You know what they did? One of those daycare workers probably cut it out. They had to have shaved it or cut it out of her hair. That was done purposefully. They didn't, nobody yanked it out. That's what the mother thinks, but they couldn't have yanked it because there would have been like some stubble. There would have been like a bruising or something where you could tell there was some sort of trauma to the area. They likely cut that cornrow out. Okay. That's what they did. That's what they did because there's no blood or anything, no bruising or nothing. Yeah, they did that. Is what they did. I promise you.
But I know for a fact she or a kid would not have done that.
A report with the Ocean Township Police says Mila's hair looked normal around 11 a.m. The video from inside the classroom shows her playing with her braids several times. The officer notes one of the teachers is seen on video trying to take a smock off of Mila's head around 11:45, at which point she's seen putting her hand up to the right side of her head. After this, the officer no longer saw the braid, and even after searching, the hair and the barrettes were not found.
What troubles me about the case is that the facility deflected, and they told my client various different things. They didn't know if her child pulled it out. They didn't know what happened. At first, they feigned that they had no idea that it even happened.
The director of the daycare tells Eyewitness News it's not clear exactly what happened, but that there's no evidence Mila's hair was pulled out. Hemingway says for her, this isn't so much about the manner in which the braid came off, but the way the daycare handled the situation.
They're supposed to notify me just to even like give whatever little information you do have about the incident until you look into it further and confirm. But no one even called me to just let me know that little bit of information. I'm very upset and I'm very frustrated because this is my child. Like, she's not able to let me know what happened, and that's the concerning part. The fact that they're just so insensitive, like no one even called me to check on her, see how she was doing.
Hemingway says Mila has now been removed from this daycare, and she also says the 2-year-old has been sensitive to people touching her hair ever since this happened.
I don't know who did it, but I tell you what, everybody who worked at that daycare would have flat tires, 4 of them. Okay, and then that might not be all. Now, let me say this. Y'all know I'm joking, not. Here's the thing. At the end of the day, they clearly cut that out of her hair. They either shaved it or they took some scissors and went all the way down and cut that entire cornrow out. Okay? That's what they did. They definitely didn't yank it out, but they took it out. Nicole said teachers and daycare workers are becoming younger and younger. Exactly. It's a darn shame. It's a darn shame. Now, I want y'all to look at this again. Hold on. Let's pull the picture back up. Let's see if we can get to the bottom of it. Hold on. Now, look. See, the way it looks, I think that they took some scissors and just cut it off. That's what I think they did. What do y'all think? They could have shaved it off with clippers. I don't know. What do y'all think? And this is how it was looking before. A whole braid just straight up going. Dirty devils. Yeah, Deronda said they probably did it while the baby was napping. Exactly. That's exactly what they did, honey. And they probably, there's not a high probability that they would have clippers at the daycare. Okay? They probably did that with some scissors. I'm telling you. Okay, so anyway, let's get into it. And here's the thing, because I let a relative keep my oldest son, D'Angelo. I let a relative keep him when he was like 12 months old, and he had long hair, and I had his hair braided like in plaits. And so when he came home, his braids were cut. They weren't shaved off. They were cut off with scissors. And that's kind of how they looked. And I was furious. And she said, oh, I did you a favor. He's a boy. He's not supposed to have long hair. First of all, you don't tell me how long his hair is supposed to be. And you don't get to decide whether or not his hair is cut. Okay? Because first of all, my grandmother told me not to cut his hair until after he was 12 months old. That's just something that old folks believed. Back in the day. I don't know if they still do, but that's what my grandmother told me. So anyway, she took it upon herself to cut D'Angelo's hair off, honey. Okay, please pay attention. So nefarious. Now, let's talk about this judge, because did you all hear about this judge who actually shot her ex-boyfriend? Did y'all hear about this? Let's talk about it. This is what a judge did. Pennsylvania Judge Sonia McKnight convicted of shooting sleeping boyfriend in the head. Say what? So a Pennsylvania judge is accused of shooting her ex-boyfriend while he slept. She's going to spend the next decade, or she's going to spend decades behind bars, as she's been convicted of attempted homicide and aggravated assault charges on Wednesday. Now, after 2 deliberations, a jury convicted Sonia M. McKnight, a magisterial judge in Dauphin County, on both charges that she faced. 1 count of attempted murder and 1 count of aggravated assault. McKnight, who's 58 years old, who has held the elected role since 2016, was taken away in handcuffs after the trial judge rejected a defense request that she be released. Now, she was taken outside the county for incarceration because she sent many defendants to Dauphin County Prison during her 9 years on the bench. Now, the shooting unfolded in February of 2024 after McKnight's then boyfriend, Michael McCoy, who's 58, attempted to end their one-year relationship and asked her to move out of his home. Honey, they only have been dating for a year and she's acting this crazy. And first of all, 58 years old, you are too old to be acting so ridiculous, okay? Anyway, this is all nefarious. Now, McKnight allegedly agreed to go, but then later that evening, McCoy was awoken by a massive head pain and was blind. During the trial, he testified that he couldn't see after the shooting, but that McKnight was the only other person home at the time. Police said that McKnight called 911 and that during the call she said, or that she could not explain what happened and stated that she was sleeping and heard him screaming. A likely story. So emergency responders rushed McCoy to the hospital where they found a gunshot wound to the right temple that exited his left temple. Authorities said that the extent of the damage left McCoy blind in his right eye. A gun registered to McKnight was also found at the scene, and she was found to have gunshot residue on her hands only an hour after the shooting. Honey, why did a whole judge think that she could get away with this? She didn't know she was going to have blowback on her clothing, on her hands. This is all so ridiculous. Both McCoy and McKnight told police they were the only ones at home at the time of the shooting, and McCoy told police he did not shoot himself. She thought he was dead and she wasn't going to have to explain anything. She was just going to leave quietly and act like, probably come back and act like she found him that way. Who knows? McKnight had a previous altercation with her estranged husband, Enoch McKnight, in 2019, during which she shot him in the groin after asking him to help her move furniture. The couple married in 2014, but had filed for divorce 2 years later. However, the divorce was still pending at the time of the shooting, which was ruled to be self-defense as the pair were in the midst of a domestic dispute. This lady was a whole judge and she's out here acting like this. This is all crazy. Do y'all hear this? Do y'all hear this? Let me let you all see the news report so y'all can see. Okay, and then her lawyer sitting here trying to tell this little sob story like she didn't do nothing wrong. Please sit down somewhere, sir.
More emphasis that I disagree with the judgment that they made. Ms. McKnight will absolutely be appealing this. She did not attempt to kill Mr. McCoy. Thank you.
Former Dauphin County Judge Soulja McKnight has been found guilty of attempting to kill her ex-boyfriend by shooting him in the head while he slept. We appreciate you joining us tonight at 6. I'm TJ Anthony. This morning, the courthouse right behind me, the jury deliberated for less than 2 hours before finding McKnight guilty of first-degree attempted murder and aggravated assault. So she will be sentenced in May. But to take you through the past 3 days of proceedings, we have live team coverage tonight. CBS 21's Jasmine Brooks and Elise Persons are right outside of the Dauphin County Courthouse with the aftermath of this verdict. And guys, a lot of eyes were watching this case closely.
Yes, that's right. Now, Elise has been covering this since day one. TJ, thank you so much. And so key takeaways from today, Elise.
Yeah, so today kicked off with the judge explaining to the jury how they would be kind of handling these jury deliberations, what they should know, the rules about it, if you would. But one thing that I found very, very interesting in the explanation of how the jury should head into the deliberation room is he talked about how Soulja McKnight did not get on the stand. So, Michael McCoy, the man that, Soulja is now accused of shooting the head, he took the stand yesterday, but McKnight never did. And the judge told the jury that is not evidence against McKnight. This is not something that you can hold against her.
Closing arguments. Can you talk about what the DA said?
Yeah, so the DA, he started his closing arguments sitting down and he says, looks at the jury, he says, typically you go to sleep and you'll have a nightmare. You wake up from it and it's over. He said Michael McCoy on February 10th, 2024, he woke up to the nightmare. He detailed how, this was a heinous crime committed by Soulja McKnight. He asked the jury to put one and one together to come to the conclusion who shot him, and take a listen to him explaining what that sounded like.
Using your common sense, that's what I urge the jurors to do. There were 2 people in that house and only 2 people in that house. And one of them, the one who was shot, said he did not shoot himself. The logical conclusion is the other person did it. And I'm glad the jury ultimately saw the truth in that statement and they found her guilty on all charges here today.
Elise, you spent hours inside the courtroom over the past 3 days, so a lot to get to and unpack.
Yeah, so I mean, this trial was jam-packed. The jury came from Delaware County, so really it seems like they were trying to get as much in to the day as possible. The trial kicked off Monday. We were in the courtroom from 9 a.m. until 9:15 p.m., just taking one lunch break, one morning break, one afternoon break. And then yesterday, Tuesday, was day 2 of the trial, kicked off at 9 a.m., and we got out around 4:45 after those.
About the severity of his injuries. After 3 days, 24 witnesses, and 50 pieces of evidence, suspended Dauphin County Judge Soulja McKnight has been found guilty of first-degree attempted murder and aggravated assault for shooting her ex-boyfriend Michael McCoy in the head while he was sleeping in the early morning hours of February 10th, 2024. The jury reached their verdict in less than 2 hours. McKnight's bail was set at $3 million, and she was taken immediately to the Dauphin County Prison. It was a jam-packed trial beginning Monday morning at 9 a.m. The jury heard from 17 witnesses throughout the day on Monday, including Susquehanna Police Department patrol officers and detectives, the EMS crews that treated McCoy, and forensic experts. Throughout the trial, body cam footage was showed recapping the minutes after police arrived at McCoy's home and up to police interviews with McCoy the day after the shooting. Gunshot residue was brought up frequently throughout the trial. A forensic scientist took the stand to break down her analysis of the gunshot residue tested in this case. She found McCoy's clothing and hands tested positive for having the maximum amount of gunshot residue present, whereas McKnight's pajama shorts, a singular sock, her robe, and one part of her hand tested positive for gunshot residue. Officers testified Monday morning McKnight washed her hands and dropped her shirt in the toilet before being tested for gunshot residue. Day 2 of the trial kicked off with McCoy's doctors at Hershey Medical Center testifying about the severity of his injuries. His trauma surgeon the night of the shooting said if the bullet went in a different trajectory by just a matter of centimeters, this would have been a very different outcome. On Tuesday, McCoy took the stand for the first time, and he touched on the year-long relationship with McKnight, saying, quote, "There were always problems." He says he made it clear to McKnight on Friday, February 9th, 2024, he was serious. The relationship was over. He then went to sleep. He says he woke up with excruciating pain. On the stand, he said, quote, "I thought I was having a brain aneurysm. I thought my brain was trying to get out of my head." He testified he was the one who asked McKnight to call 911 in the early hours of Saturday morning and was shocked to later learn he had been shot in the head. When asked if he shot himself, McCoy answered no. He says, "I don't know who shot me, but I didn't shoot myself." Tuesday afternoon, McKnight told the judge she would not be taking the witness stand. Her defense lawyer called for the case to be thrown out. That request was denied. In closing arguments, McKnight's lawyer told the jury the Commonwealth did not provide enough evidence to meet the burden of proof and to find McKnight not guilty. Whereas the Commonwealth asked the jury to piece all the evidence together and come to the conclusion McKnight was the one who pulled the trigger. He said to the jury, quote, "When you apply your common sense to this case, the only person who could have committed this crime is right here," McCormick said, pointing at McKnight. And in under 2 hours Wednesday morning, the jury came to that decision, finding Soulja McKnight guilty on 2 felony charges.
That's a damn shame. That is a darn shame. First of all, she's a nice looking lady. She's a judge, had everything going for herself. And lady, just because that man doesn't want you and it didn't work out, this is what you did. You chose violence. Girl, you could have gone and found you someone else in a New York minute. Oh my goodness, honey, this is all crazy. Honey, I don't ever want to know this type of feelings. Because first of all, honey, if somebody doesn't want me, I certainly wouldn't want them. This is absolutely nefarious, okay? Anyway, honey, she's going to have a lot of time on her hands to think about her actions, okay? 58 years old, and this is what you chose to do? Honey, you should be getting ready to sit back and enjoy your golden years. Retire and travel. Instead, you're going to the state pen. Go into the state pen. Now, she got away with that first shooting, honey. This is nothing but her karma coming back to make sure she goes down for the count this time. And that's exactly what happened. Okay, so anyway, honey, I absolutely cannot believe that some people are willing to risk it all. Just throw caution to the wind. Okay, just give up all of the things that they've acquired in their life, all of their accolades, and all of the things that they've accomplished. Because somebody doesn't want you. This is all crazy, honey, okay? This is all crazy. It is never that bad. All right? It's never that bad. Why would you do it? And she was that angry at the man that she wanted to take him up out of here and send him to the spiritual realm. Mind you, they'd only been together for a year. And the man said there were always problems. Honey, he should have left her a long time ago, okay? Because if you got serious problems in a year of a relationship, honey, it's time to go. Okay, I'm out of here. All right, I'm out of here real quick. Now, before I get out of here literally, let's talk about this helicopter crash into the Hudson River because the pilot passed away, and there was it was quite frankly a deadly crash. 6 people died, including the pilot. Okay, and this happened in New York. So let's get into this. Happened yesterday. Lights up. All of these helicopter and plane crashes. Y'all don't find that just very interesting, at least, if not suspicious?
Falling apart in midair, and then the tail came off.
A helicopter plummets from the sky.
I heard a big boom, thinking that it was like construction next door.
A mother, father, their 3 children, and the pilot all killed. Shoes, passports, and pieces of the chopper left floating in the water.
There was a family on there. My heart goes out to them.
Tonight, as the wreckage is slowly removed, questions remain about what went wrong. And good evening to you. I'm Christine Johnson. People from around the world travel to see the skyline of New York City in person. And that is exactly what one family from Spain was doing today. Sadly, this memorable trip turned tragic. The helicopter they were riding in crashed, killing everyone on board. Here is a live look now at the Hudson River from Jersey City. Nearly 8 hours after this tragedy, most of the wreckage has been lifted from the water. And here is what we have confirmed. On board were the pilot and a family of 5, a mother, father, and their 3 young children. Pieces of the helicopter seen breaking apart by witnesses before it landed in the chilly water this afternoon. We have team coverage for you tonight. Tim McNicholas has more on the chopper's operator and history. Dick Brennan is talking to aviation experts. And Alicia Reed heard from witnesses on the ground. We begin our coverage here, though, at 11 with Allie Bauman. She is live at the scene from Manhattan's West Side. Allie.
Christy, we've just learned the father who died in that crash was Siemens executive Agustin Escobar, along with his wife and their 3 children, 11, 5, and 4 years old. They were on a sightseeing flight that tourists take over the city almost every day. Tonight, authorities say the main body of the aircraft has been recovered, but dive operations will resume tomorrow for its other major parts.
It's metal mangled. The Bell 206 helicopter is raised from the Hudson River Thursday night, hours after it plunged into the water, killing all 6 people on board.
We saw the tail end of the helicopter pop off and the main rotor go flying off.
Cell phone video shows its terrifying drop.
It just flipped over in midair and started falling into the ground. Propellers still propelling without the plane helicopter as it was falling.
Authorities believe the sightseeing tour took off from the downtown Skyport in Manhattan at 2:59 p.m. and flew along the Hudson toward the George Washington Bridge.
Shortly thereafter, the aircraft lost control and hit the water.
The first 911 call came in 18 minutes after takeoff.
Yeah, I've located the choppers north of the vents right here, right where I'm sitting. It's upside down in the water here.
NYPD and FDNY divers quickly went into the water, but no one on board survived. The pilot and passengers, a family from Spain, including 3 children, killed.
We're praying for the families and our gratitude to the rescuers and the courage that was displayed in their dedication.
As the inverted helicopter bobbed in the water, the family's belongings drifting along bitter waves, crestfallen divers returned to land, their eyes saying all that they could not.
And they told us they did everything they can to try to save these victims. And you can see the trauma in their face. They did everything they can, and they wanted me to make sure that I made that public. They really tried their hardest.
And the National Transportation Safety Board says its GO team is expected to arrive here tonight to begin its investigation. The burning question that remains here tonight, why did this happen? We're live on Manhattan's West Side. Allie Bauman, CBS News, New York.
Allie, thank you. Witnesses watched in disbelief as this tragedy unfolded. And Alicia Reed continues our team coverage from the other side of the river in Jersey City now. Alicia?
Christine, over and over, witnesses expressed shock and horror at what they saw and heard today. Many mentioned that the chopper, there was a loud bang before it went down in the Hudson right behind me. It was all hands on deck in New York and New Jersey. Divers going in to complete the search as witnesses detail what they saw and heard.
And I saw like black particles flying. The helicopter was a little bit like nose down slightly, and I saw the propeller separating from the helicopter. It kept spinning in the air alone. Nothing was attached to it.
Horror set in once neighbors realized the sounds they were hearing was a helicopter carrying tourists that had crashed into the Hudson River.
We saw the ambulance. Everybody was running around crying. So, oh my God, what's going on here? It was very sad to see that.
Additional emergency services entering the dock throughout the day near the Holland Tunnel ventilation shaft. The pilot and a family of 5, including mom, dad, and their 3 young children, all gone.
I feel like I'm gonna throw up. It's so sad.
It was very sad to see these people found out from Spain coming in to visit and travel and see the city. It's very sad.
Some were out jogging, but many witnesses were working from home and saw it all go down from their high rises.
You know, I even see bodies, people taking bodies out.
It's just super upsetting. You don't hear about things happening in the Hudson water, like a helicopter this close to the city or especially where you live. So it's definitely kind of scary to think about.
Neighbors here are on edge tonight. This deadly crash happening way too close to home. Live in Jersey City, Alicia Reed, CBS News, New York.
It really was shocking, Alicia. Thank you. And of course, this tragedy has so many people asking here what went terribly wrong. And the investigation is now only just beginning. Dick Brennan is here now with more on that part of the story. Dick.
Yeah, Christine, it was a massive failure and it happened so quickly. And now the NTSB will have to figure out why it happened, but it's possible they could quickly get some solid clues.
The final seconds of the flight were caught on camera and must have been terrifying for the passengers.
Those people, including the pilot, had to be beyond scared. And like I said, it just put a horrible feeling in my stomach when I saw that.
Chopper 2's Dan Rice flies in the same craft that was involved in the crash, and he described how it likely came apart.
When you watch that video where that helicopter is coming down on the main rudder, that's somehow detached from the rest of the aircraft. Once that leaves the aircraft, and then this piece in the back, the tail boom, gets separated somehow, it is totally rendered unflyable. It's just you're along for the ride, sadly.
But the big question, how did the chopper come apart? Witnesses say they heard a boom before it went down.
You can lose an engine in a helicopter, you'll be fine. You lose the rotor, and there's nothing you can do. You are ballistic at that point.
We asked retired Naval Flight Officer Armin Kurdian what are the possible causes of the crash.
Something physically broke in the shaft, something physically broke in one of the blades that would cause a massive vibration that would have essentially caused the rotor to shake itself apart.
But Kurdian says the NTSB will also check if the aircraft was properly maintained and inspected, and perhaps there was a mechanical problem.
Something just came loose. Something wasn't fixed properly. Something wasn't attached properly. Or perhaps one of the fasteners actually failed that caused, say, a blade to actually come apart.
So now investigators will sift through what was recovered on land and in the water. And Kurdian says they could possibly get an answer quickly.
The NTSB folks are going to be looking at this, and once they pull it out, I think they're going to have a really solid idea of what happened within 72 hours, and I'd be surprised if it takes them that long.
Now, Kurdian says since the helicopter was already in the air for a while, the chances are nothing was mechanically missing when it left. But something could have happened and come loose in the air, Christine, and then everything could cascade all at once.
You know, when we were speaking with Dan earlier in the evening when this was all unfolding and he was describing that main rudder missing from the helicopter, I had to have him repeat it.
Yeah.
because I couldn't understand. I said, what did you mean it was missing?
In these crashes, frequently in helicopters, the rotor is there and they try to auto-rotate, essentially float down to the ground. But once that rotor is gone, it's like losing the wings on a plane. There's nothing you can do.
Okay, Dick, thank you for that. Let's turn now to meteorologist Rob Marciano with more on what the weather conditions were like at the time of the crash this afternoon. Rob.
Hey, Christine. Well, the visibility was good. We had visibilities to 10 miles. The ceiling heights were anywhere between 5,000 and 10,000 feet. And you've seen these aircraft flying around the city. I mean, they're typically well below 2,000 feet so that people can get a good look at what's down below. And then we did have winds. They were variable, light. Few gusts around that time, 18 to 21 miles an hour. Still nothing that an aircraft like that couldn't handle. And the water temperatures are 50 degrees, so survivable if they were to actually make it past that. And the currents that these guys are dealing with, you have the current coming out of the river, and then you've got the tides coming in at times. They'll have to contend with that throughout the salvage operation tomorrow, and also the light rains that are now falling. The rain wasn't falling until after the crash, and the rains will continue, it looks like, on and off through tomorrow as well. More on that in just a little bit.
Okay, Rob, thank you. Investigative reporter Tim McNicholas has been looking into both the helicopter's operator and its owner, and he joins us now with more on what he has learned. And Tim, I know that you spoke with the company that operated that flight. What they have to say?
That's right, Christine. I had a very brief phone call this evening with the CEO. He said he's been in business for 28 years, and he says nothing like this has ever happened with his company.
I don't know anything how this went down. The only thing I could tell you, we are devastated. My wife hasn't stopped crying since this afternoon. We're a small company. I'm a father and a grandfather, and we're just devastated.
Yeah.
No clue what happened.
Michael Roth is CEO of New York Helicopter, the company that operated the Bell 206 and posted this video of the chopper on Facebook last year. Roth says his company leases the helicopter from a Louisiana-based company called Meridian Helicopters, which has described itself online as a helicopter brokerage that sells, leases, and refurbishes choppers. The NTSB is investigating the incident and has not said what caused it. When asked, Roth declined to discuss how often the helicopter was inspected or how recently.
We follow all the rules and more.
NTSB records show the only other accident involving New York Helicopter was a hard landing in 2015 in New Jersey on a different chopper the company also leased from Meridian. Only the pilot was on board and no one was hurt, but the tail of the aircraft was damaged by the accident, which the NTSB blamed on a faulty part. But Meridian said at the time that the prior owner who just sold them that chopper said the part was safe. And investigators said the part was at some point repainted by unknown personnel, which masked the warning signs.
Helicopters are safe. We have witnessed that throughout the years, and it's part of the New York experience. This is a very unfortunate situation, but we have to always ensure we have the proper safety precautions, and that's what's done.
At least 38 people have died in helicopter accidents in New York City since 1977. That's according to the Associated Press. And Christine, we have reached out to Meridian as well, and we're still waiting to hear back.
Okay, so I find that very interesting. It's quite frankly, in my opinion, suspicious that it just started falling apart in midair. Like, that's real crazy. That's the pilot right there. His name is Sean Johnson, or Shaquise Johnson, but they called him Sean, apparently. So anyway, now they say Shaquise Johnson, 36 years old, was the pilot killed in the crash, and Johnson often shared career highlights as a helicopter pilot on social media. In March, he updated his Facebook profile photo to a screen grab showing him at the controls of a helicopter with Freedom Tower and the Manhattan skyline in the background. Now, in the summer of 2023, he announced he was flying a Black Hawk helicopter to help fight wildfires for a Montana-based company, saying long hours and painstaking work to get to this moment. Thank you for all the love and support from those who've helped me to get here, he wrote. We are deeply saddened by the tragic helicopter crash in which Agustin Escobar and his family lost their lives. This is the statement. Our heartfelt condolences go out to all their loved ones. Okay, and now what we do know, during the briefing, officials confirmed that the preliminary cause of the crash has not yet been determined and emphasized that they would not speculate. They also outlined their ongoing efforts to gather perishable evidence from the site to aid in the investigation. And also, there are several parts of the helicopter still missing. Now, they said the current focus is on collecting perishable items from the accident site. Investigators have recovered the rotor, but are still searching for the main rotor and a tail rotor. Officials urged everyone or anyone who may have seen anything unusual to come forward and share that information. Now, the portion of the Hudson River where the helicopter went down was about 5 feet deep and rocky. Police say divers recovered items considered to be not normal, approximately 75 feet from the shoreline, and are keeping them to help paint a better picture of exactly what happened. Witnesses described seeing the helicopter falling apart in midair with the tail and propeller coming off. There were reports of the propeller spinning without the aircraft as it fell. So that all sounds real scary. Now, photos posted on the helicopter company's website showed the couple and their children smiling as they boarded just before the flight took off. The nature of the trip remains unclear and further details are being investigated. Okay, and so this man who was on there was supposedly some sort of tech giant or whatever. The victims of the helicopter crash have been identified as Agustin Escobar. Okay, that's his name. Simon's executive from Spain, his wife Mercy Camprubi Montal, a global manager at an energy technology company, and their 9-year-old daughter, Mercedes Escobar Camprubi, and the pilot, Shanquise Johnson. So very sad circumstances at the end of the day. I'm just curious as to what happened. I mean, did they need some sort of maintenance done to it? I don't know. But I just find it also so sad and clearly devastating for the family to have to find out, that they came to visit just to sightsee, and then this is what happened. This is making me not want to travel by air. I mean, all these helicopters and plane crashes, it's just getting ridiculous. And also to know that you can't even trust Boeing, okay, which is likely most of the planes. All right, so, and here's the thing. Can you even trust the trains? Because there was some mess going on with a train in Atlanta the other day. It looked like it was just driving down into the ground from what I heard. Because the tracks needed to be repaired. And they said this was definitely a danger. Okay, so please pay attention, honey. We're all just riding around here, living on a wing and a prayer, y'all. Nicole said, can it be drones flying around? You know what? That's a good question. I don't know. These drones could be dangerous potentially, as far as I'm concerned. I have no idea, beloved. But for the plane or for the helicopter to be falling apart in midair, that just sounds like, I don't know. Terry Hinn said, yes, wing and a prayer. Okay, no pun intended. Okay, so anyway, honey, everybody better stay prayed up, all right? And especially if you're going to be flying anywhere anytime soon. Okay, please pay attention. With that all being said, and, just listen to that story about that nefarious judge. Okay, for all of you all who are in volatile relationships where you see a bunch of red flags and things are just not going the way you anticipated, if you're thinking about getting rid of that person, if they live with you and you want them out, honey, after you give them the news that they got to get the hell up out of there, please. If you go to bed with them in the house, you might want to lock your doors, honey, and sleep with one eye open, because this is all crazy. Okay? Panther Strike said, Queen, the mega bus for me, not the mega bus. Okay, Miss AP said, bridges are falling. I know, right? This is all crazy. And I'm out of here. I'm out like a light. Everyone like and share, subscribe to the channel. Don't forget to catch your members only broadcast that's posted on this channel and the spiritual one. And I love you all to life. I hope you enjoy the rest of this day, and I will see you all in the morning, bright and early, with your morning wake-up call. Okay, so until then, beloveds, always remember to keep the Most High first in your lives, okay? And I will talk to you all again soon. Peace.
Hit him with that flavor. Gold all in my skin, God all in my blood. Kings all in my circle, you touch one of mine and you're done. They show no love for the queen, why you hating on me? Is it cause I'm free and I got Malcolm X in my jeans? I got dreams like King Luther, shed blood like Kunta. You ain't helping my people, I ain't got nothing to say to ya. I want all the smoke like hookah. Talking reparations, America won't be great until they give us compensation. I'm like, I'm the hottest right now. That's See right. A bunch of lames out here trying to jock on my style. They be doing too much. I'm the queen, it's too easy. It's like they all at Popeyes, how they be talking so greasy. I just sit back and laugh while these haters get madder. So nefarious how they don't want my pockets with cheddar. I tell them they can do better. These snakes in the grass can leave a bite on your ass, cause y'all be trusting too fast. I got my foot on the gas, other one on they necks. Dropping receipts on haters, you better show some respect. I'm never facing regrets, we only facing the threats. Running through every challenge like a relay, break no sweat. It's a cold game, so I got that blanket with me. Now that my people awaken, ain't no going to sleep. I do not play by my piece, this time I'm playing for keeps. You talking slick, but when I see you like them ends, we gon' meet. And I got gold all in my skin, God all in my blood. Kings all in my circle, you touch one of mine and you done. They show no love for the queen, why they hating on me? Is it cause I'm free and I got Malcolm X in my jeans and I got gold all in my skin, God all in my blood. Kings all in my circle, you touch one of mine and you done. They show no love for the queen, why they hating on me? Is it cause I'm free and I got Malcolm X in my jeans and I got